Hey, good afternoon to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here. It is July 24th, Saturday the 24th, 2021, and I'm trying to enjoy some vacation time down here in Orlando with my family, but we got to talk about that's behind me. Invest Area 90L. No worries, it's not going to be a big deal, even though it's interrupting my vacation a little bit. It is worth talking about, though, and what impacts there will be. Also an area of interest in the Eastern Pacific, but to get to the punchline on both of these systems, honestly, neither are a big concern at all. Yet it is hurricane season. This is my job, and even on vacation, sometimes nature interrupts. So let's get on with it, shall we? Then I can get back to enjoying the pool here in Orlando. In the Eastern Pacific first, system out here well off the coast of Mexico, the Baja and vicinity. 60% chance of development over the next several days. Not even going to worry about it. That's it. That's all the time we're going to spend on it. In the meantime, we do have Invest Area 90L off the coast of Florida, not too far from where I am right here in the Orlando area. I was actually down in the Keys, all around South Florida here with the family, showing them some of the places that I had been along my many hurricane highway adventures, as we call it, over the course of my career, also checking out the beautiful Sunshine State. And I tell you what, the water temperatures down there in the Keys were very, very toasty, mid-80s, upper 80s in the really shallow parts. If you live down there, you visited down there recently, you know. But now we've got this system offshore, Invest Area 90L. It's the weekend. People might be wondering what's going to happen with it, so here we are. All right, so Recon checking it out this afternoon. I don't think there's really much to check out. We can look at the satellite picture of it. Nice animation here of a good deal of the Western Hemisphere. And there's the system right there on the tail end of a front. Sometimes the energy on those frontal systems will try to coalesce and pinch off at the end of those fronts. You get convergence where the air comes together. You've got the very warm water of the Western Atlantic sitting down here. And every once in a while, these systems can develop into something that is concerning. In this case, I don't think it's going to end up being concerning at all. So, even if you were just saying, hey, where's the system on here? You might think, is that 90L? Is that 90L? Nope, it's right there. So, even from the visible satellite imagery, you can tell it is not that big of a deal. Way out here in the Eastern Pacific is that other system. I think it's 98E or 96E or something like that. Doesn't matter. It's going to head out into the open Pacific and not amount to anything. Looking at the close-up here from Weather Nerds, you can clearly see this has a lot of problems with it, if you will. It's kind of elongated overall. There is low pressure there, but very limited convection around the center. There's a lot of thunderstorm activity over the southern peninsula, even a tornado warning earlier down here near Plantation Key and Tavernier and vicinity. I was just down there yesterday. I saw Mike Tice, if you guys know him. Extreme Nature, the famous Battle at the Beachfront, Katrina videographer, and National Geographic photographer, etc. Yep, his family business down there took us out snorkeling, along with about 38 other people. It was fantastic. Glad we didn't go today. We got it in just the nick of time. Kind of related to this overall pattern. You have all this air down here converging. It's all disturbed. And, so you get these thunderstorms, these concentrated areas of pretty hefty thunderstorms, even some flood risk down in parts of South Florida. But there's the system right there, very, very weak overall. And the convection, what little of it there is way out here, kind of stretched out in a linear fashion. Lots of storms here over the Central Gulf. That's not going to amount to anything either. Look at that. That's a nice arc cloud coming out from this cluster of storms. That is the cold air, just a real quick meteorology lesson for you, and fluid dynamics. Cold air is heavy, so it sinks, and so you get all that rain and thunderstorm activity down there, and that cold air sinks, and it spreads out, and kind of like a snowplow, pushing the snow out in front of it. You get these big outflow boundaries, and that is divergent flow down at the surface, where the air is spreading away at the surface. The complete opposite of what you need for a tropical cyclone. You need the air coming together at the surface. And it's trying to do that with Invest Area 90L right here. There's air trying to come in towards this. It's moving away from this system down here at the surface, divergent flow at the surface. But this has other issues with it. There's dry air around. The upper level winds are too strong. and the pressures aren't falling that dramatically. Just sometimes things don't come together, and I know I'm not complaining about that because, again, I'm trying to enjoy some time off before things get really busy in a few weeks, because it's just a matter of time. It does have good rotation with it, though, good vorticity, but it does lack the deep thunderstorm activity, as I just showed you. Not much of that around, and without deep thunderstorms to lower the pressure, to get that condensation and heat release going, to generate the engine starting up, it's not going to do much. And in fact, the models are not that enthusiastic about it at all. There it is, represented very, very well in the GFS right there. That's what it looks like. That's the rest of the vorticity along the front there. And as I put this out into motion and over time, look, it just doesn't do much. It moves over Florida, right over my area, which is where it's going to come right over me. How about that? Hey, I wonder if I can get my drone high enough to see it. Probably not. The FAA wouldn't like that. And I didn't bring the hurricane balloon with me, so oh well. Won't get to see what an invest looks like from the air. Nevertheless, hey, that's what the hurricane hunters are for. It moves off into the Gulf, whatever's left of it there. I mean, you can barely even see the impulse right over here. And no, I really don't think this is going to be a case of, you never know. The models haven't been good. I mean, if the models blow this, it's time to throw them out completely and just do it all by looking at stuff and just go back to hand-drawn charts. Seriously. The pattern is not favorable. And I know part of this is wishful thinking, but seriously, it's not going to happen. There's a disturbance down there. Yes, it's going to bring showers and thunderstorms and gusty winds, but that's different than a closed circulation and a named storm or something to worry about. Even the Euro, it brings it in farther north, whatever, into over Georgia, and just dissipates. So really not much to worry about. But one thing to just point out, and this is important, this is a big weather feature compared to you and me. We're down here on the surface. I'm over here in Central Florida. You are wherever you are. And if you're watching from Florida, you get the idea. This is bigger than you. Even these little speckles of lightning, those are bigger than you. So, you got to take it seriously. It could create some rip currents, and any of these bands that come on shore, or the disturbed weather that it helps to spawn, semi-related to it, like this heavy rain down here. We drove through a heavy thunderstorm on the turnpike, so there are impacts, but you got to keep it in perspective. I'm not too concerned with it, neither should you, but that's not the same as, ignore it. And it's nothing. It's something. It's bigger than us, so take it, for what it's worth. Monitor it, and we'll see what happens. Hey, don't forget, real quick, I do a morning podcast, even on vacation. That's a lot easier to do than these videos, because it's just audio and it's much shorter. It's called Hurricane Season, the podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts, hopefully. Search for Hurricane Season, the podcast, those 4 words, and I update it every morning, a little digest as to what I'm looking at in the day ahead. And once the season really starts to get busy here, hopefully in about a month, and when I say hopefully, I mean it waits until a month at least, that podcast will become really important because it'll sort of set the stage for the day ahead, especially when we get something out there, and then we use this video discussion here to get into greater detail. All right. So everybody else enjoy, including me, all of you, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Unless there's a reason to do a video discussion tomorrow, I'll wait and do one on Monday when we look at the usual stuff for the week ahead, water temperatures, the SOI, ENSO, all that kind of good stuff. We'll try to cram all that in on Monday to get us ready for the week ahead, as I mentioned. All right, that is it for me. I'm going to go down and enjoy the pool here at the hotel. I'm Mark Sudduth. As always, thanks for tuning in and giving me a part of your day. I'll talk to you again Monday.